So hello, I'm Paul.
And I'm Alison.
And this is our second Marriage Marathon vlog. So this week we want to talk about fantasy versus reality. Now when we first came up with the idea of the Marriage Marathon, it all seemed very exciting, and we kind of pictured ourselves crossing the finish line after 26 miles, dressed as a bride and groom. We came up with that idea, didn't we?
Yeah.
And sun shining, the crowd cheering. Now, the reality when you actually start training is there is hard work, and when you actually get running, you find icy cold days, there's aches and pains to deal with. You need quite a lot of time actually as well to set aside for the training and also for the preparation.
So we're about 7k into the run, probably nearing halfway. We've got to do about 16k today, about 10 miles, and nice sunny day. We're just experimenting with our pace. We're hoping to do on the actual marathon day something around 5.5 hours, and for that we need to be running about probably 8:15 minutes per kilometre. It's doing really well, and if we can run at this kind of pace consistently over the 26 miles, we'll be doing about 5.5 hours. And we're just coming up to home. Both had enough. Supposed to do 16, but we figure this is close enough. Side run, yeah, close to home, and we're having to do loops to make it longer, and we don't really want to do that, so we're just gonna finish off. And I think about 15.5k, which is close to 10 miles. Oops.
So the reality was that this is quite a big task that we've taken on. We realised that we needed proper support, so obviously we need the support in terms of the things that you put around your legs, what are they called?
Knee braces.
Knee braces. So support for us when we're running, but also emotional support from friends and family is very important. And Alison will tell us that that's a bit like relationships, really, isn't it? That fantasy versus reality can be a little bit different.
It certainly can. So in a lot of the work I do is around working with people where often they've come into a relationship with this fantasy idea that they've got this perfect relationship and it's going to stay that way. And actually the reality is it's not really like that at all. Sort of we get that intoxicating feeling, the excitement, the anticipation, and then when those love chemicals kick in, such as dopamine, it's way, and it all seems hunky-dory and wonderful, and often it is, but actually very rarely does it stay at that intense, easy level. And so in terms of having a long-term relationship, if that's actually what you're going for, it's so important to have a more realistic idea of what's going to sustain a relationship. So some of the things I come across are where people have what we call unmet expectations. So people have all sorts of ideas about how their partner's going to be, but they haven't actually told the partner this. So the partner's no idea. For example, when Paul and I got together, that the males in my family had all been really good at DIY. So I just expected Paul to be able to know what to do with his drill, to put shelves up, to just be able to do all sorts of DIY things. The reality was that wasn't his forte. And it's amazing with other things. So he's a real wordsmith. If you need your CV checking, this is the guy. But when it came to DIY, it wasn't happening. And so that actually cause lots of conflict in a way. So we've had to work really hard on that one. My expectation wasn't unreasonable, but it was unrealistic. So for many couples, it is thinking about, what am I expecting here? What am I hoping they're going to be like, and what are my hopes for this relationship? Sharing it and ironing out actually where you're compatible and where you're not, and can you accept the difference. So talking about expectations is really important. Checking out values. So this could be around honesty, around fidelity. Is cheating okay? Is cheating not okay? What constitutes cheating? So really having those conversations about what's important to you, what are your values, what are your beliefs about a healthy and successful relationship. Which leads me on to the third thing, which is around communication. So without effectively communicating what you're thinking and feeling, it's impossible for the other one to know. So it's really important with communication. It's not just about talking, it's also about listening. So many people are so busy thinking about, oh, what am I going to say? How am I going to respond to this before the other person's finished, rather than listening, taking on board, checking out, oh, I think you've said this, have I got that right? And then actually responding when you've got the full measure of what they're actually saying. So in order to set up a solid foundation for a long-term relationship, these are just some of the ways you can do that. Checking out expectations, checking out values, and checking out how well are we communicating and what do we need to do to improve it. And then hopefully you have a really good chance of crossing the finishing line, just like we're hoping to do on April the 3rd.
Well, thanks for sharing those ideas and thoughts, Alison, and I hope you found that really helpful. Fantasy versus reality, there you have it. And my idea of DIY is, when Alison asked me to do any DIY, I said, do it yourself.
So I did, and I got my own drill.
And she did. Well, thanks very much for watching, and join us again next time. Bye for now.
Bye.